Microphone on. Mic check. Mic check. Is it even on? Let's see. Microphone on. Is it on? Hello. Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, it's working. Why is it not giving me the imaging? Terrible. All right, cool. Welcome. This is Betterment Broadcast. I'm your show host. This is the 153rd show, it looks like. Fantastic. So let's start how we always start. I think that, yeah, it's working. Excellent. So before we start, we have to read the freestyle statements as we always do. And that is, when it comes to working as a collective with only Black people on matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership, Black people are collectively inadequate. Individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of corollary towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. And last but by no means least, constructive Black man, a constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. Very important. And we also remind you about the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. We try to use them anytime we help Black people. It's very important. Please do not use any derogatory terms. If you're going to come, I've posted the link in the actual forum. Feel free to jump in if you like, anytime, but more so when we actually start asking questions and having our debate. But yeah, please try to be constructive as you can. Also, what is Black Betterment? Well, Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. That's what it is. All right. So why is that doing that? Hold on. Excellent. Oh, yeah, I think that works. Let me post it now like this to see if that works. I think that worked. Yeah, that should be better. Right, cool. Now, where are we? So, yeah, we promote the lifestyle of Black Batman here. Very important lifestyle. We're going to show some videos today. They do not belong to us. These videos are just for case study purposes and all that good stuff. Please don't forget to follow Black Batman Building on Instagram when you get the time. That would be nice. Right, so we have our Jamie Foxx special today. Big up Jamie Foxx. He survived. He's doing better. He survived an illness. I'm not sure what the illness was, to be honest. A few weeks back, and everyone was wishing him well, and he's getting there. And two things have happened in the last few weeks. He released, I think it's quite successful, to be honest, a film called They Cloned Tyrone, something like that. And also, there's some incidents regarding the Jewish community. So what we're going to do is, let me read that. So we case studied Jamie Foxx film, They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix. We might do that second, maybe. And then first, who was Jamie Foxx apologizing to, and what was he apologizing for on the social media? Can this? Oh, it's going to be teach Black people how power works. But it says, oh god, whatever. Let me update that. Well, let me oh, what are you gonna do? All right, cool. Let's maybe I can update it now, maybe not, who knows. Let's play a video first of all about the incident, and then if I get time, I might change. I wish you should be able to change it on the fly, but you probably can't. All right. Typos. Add. That's why I should actually have a publicist or something. Where are we? Okay, I'm gonna look for the videos now. Give me 17 seconds. Yeah, I think it's in there. So which one should go? Let's look for this one.
Actor Jamie.
Should we look at that one or should we look at this one? No, that one's a bit rubbish. Well, let's look at a bit of this and then we'll jump back.
Actor Jamie Foxx.
Oh, not open? They did open.
Actor Jamie Foxx apologized over the weekend after a post that he put up on Instagram led to accusations of anti-Semitism. I'm gonna show you the post and then we'll get to the explanations. He had posted this: "They killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Hashtag fake friends, hashtag fake love." Now those hashtags are super relevant and we'll get to why in just a moment. But I can also understand why he received backlash for that. So the interpretation was that Fox's post promoted the idea of Jewish deicide. Jesus Christ, per the American Jewish Committee. Now, it is true that this is a talking point that has been levied by anti-Semitic people to justify violence toward Jewish people. However, there's also a miscommunication and a bit of a disconnect culturally speaking here, because apparently this is a phrase, a colloquialism, if you will, within the Black community. And so there is actually an explanation here. Before we get to that, after appearing to have repeated that trope, Fox was dragged over the coals. So a wider frame, a newsletter that says it aims to provide a better overall understanding and scope of Jewish world news, shared Fox's original post and called it horrifically anti-Semitic. Actor Jennifer Aniston then reposted a wider frame after she said that she came under fire for seeming to have liked his post. So here's what she wrote, which you tell me if you can decipher what she means here, right? Because she said, quote, "This really makes me..."
Yeah, brother Dominique, welcome everyone. If you're joining now, what we're doing today, we'll be looking at Jamie Foxx special. We're looking at They Clone Tyrone review, case study after. I hope you've watched it. I don't want to ruin plots and stuff, but we did try and let people watch it in time. And then we're looking at a few days back, there was a charge of anti-Semitism towards Jamie Foxx. So we're just asking, what was that about? And let's see if that might actually teach Black people how power works. But anyway, let's carry on listening for a bit.
Sick. "I did not like this post on purpose or by accident."
Well, it's got to be one of them.
It's got to be one of them, right? Because that has happened to me where I'm like scrolling through Twitter or scrolling through Instagram and I accidentally like something, right, that I don't actually like. So I'm like, maybe it was an accident. I don't think, you know what I mean? But when she puts out that statement, I'm like, well, it's one or the other. What do you mean here? But anyway, the rest of her post says, "I did not like this post on purpose or by accident. And more importantly, I want to be clear to my friends and anyone..."
Jennifer Aniston is the lady from Friends. Irony there, because I think Jamie Foxx made a post saying about fake friends, that don't come visit him, all this kind of stuff. And his friend, actually, a European lady, he's very fond of European ladies. And, they were good friends and she liked this post. And then someone accused her of being anti-Semitism or saying the word wrong. But yeah, that. And anti-Semitic, sorry, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic. And then she said, "Oh gosh, I don't support this or him." And essentially because, she was his friend, and the irony, I'm talking about fake friends. But funny enough, she made most of her money, or at least was more popular, by being in a show called Friends. I don't think anyone's really connected the dots to that one, but it's the irony of that. So it is for a bit, then we'll jump to another one. Hold on, for a bit.
Anyone hurt by this showing up on their feed.
Tell your friend we're live. Mr. Idiot cut. Who cut it? Is that who cut it? Is that? You know what? I'm really hoping that this hasn't happened on all the videos. I suspect it might. Very bad. All right, let me go to another one. Where are you? Videos. We'll just use it as an opener. Hold on, where is it? Is it that one? Yeah, let's say this. I think it's this. Show, hide. All right, play. Has it played? Oh, you go turn it on, don't you?
Actor Jennifer Aniston is facing criticism on social media over her reaction to an Instagram post shared by Jamie Foxx. Foxx was accused of anti-Semitism after his post was interpreted as being anti.
What's interesting is the Jewish community, or the people in the Jewish community, of accusing being wrong. doesn't seem to be the topic. It seems to be more so what he's saying, as well as Jennifer, the lady Jennifer's reaction. Interesting.
Anti-Jewish. His post read, "They killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Hashtag fake friends, hashtag fake love." Now, the post caught the attention of the Jewish news company called A Wider Frame, saying the post was horrifically anti-Semitic. The myth that Jews collectively murdered Jesus, also referred to as decide, has been used to justify violence against Jews for centuries, according to the Anti-Defamation League. The actor then deleted the post and then apologized, writing, "I want to apologize to the Jewish community and everyone who was offended by my post. I now know my choice of words have caused offense, and I'm sorry. That was never my intent. To clarify, I was betrayed by a fake friend, and that's what I meant with they, not anything more."
So how does the Friend superstar Jennifer Aniston factor in? Well, Aniston appeared to have liked Fox's now deleted post, so then she later denounced it, writing, "This really makes me sick. I did not like this post on purpose or by accident, and more importantly, I want to be clear to my friends and anyone hurt by this showing up in their feeds. I do not support any form of anti-Semitism, and I truly don't tolerate hate of any kind, period."
Best please saying that, you know, she went all full throttle there, full force. Accusing him of doing something that I guess he didn't know he did.
The confusion is causing a debate on privilege. Reese Colbert, host of SiriusXM's The Reese Colbert Show, tweeted, "This is what happens when in-group speak is broadcast to people who have zero black cultural competency and have never been around black people in a familial setting. It's obvious to us what he meant, but our own cultural context has zero value or consideration outside of the U.S." So what am I to make of this, Brianna? I have to say, if I had just, well, I don't know, because I didn't see it until I'd already known that people had called it anti-Semitic. So when I read it with that in mind, I absolutely saw why I would have guessed that the they was referring to Jewish people. But I'm being told that.
That's very interesting that, you know, you put the word they. And his second name is what? S. Let me check that. No, Soave. What name is that? Is that a Jewish name or is that? Oh, it's a Jewish name. Okay, it's Italian and Jewish. So perhaps this individual is Jewish. That's why he might have more of a history of what people might think and not think.
That's wrong, and this is a common kind of expression.
Yeah, this is an in-group, out-group issue, exactly like that woman said that.
Now, guys, I have to apologize. I actually, oh, you know what? I hope I didn't do this in the trailer as well. That would be a bit bad. My audio gets cut at a certain minute on that, so that's that. Anyway, they go on and this sister actually dropped some really good points in him. We're not going to see that. Oh dear. Oh, all right. That's how it is. You live in your land. Let's see what else I've got So yeah, I guess I'll just break it down. So basically, let's see if the writing's up there as well. Hold on. So, yeah. So Jamie Foxx, if you don't know, in the last couple of weeks and months, he's been unwell. Not too sure what happened, but he wasn't. You know, people were speculating that he might be very sickly and he might unfortunately pass, and this was very scary. And people reporting news that maybe he's worse than he was or better than he was. Anyway, he seems to be at full strength now. And obviously, in that time, I suspect maybe he wanted people to visit him. Maybe people didn't come and visit him. Maybe something happened. I wasn't there. I don't know. But he posted this where they say they killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Fake friends, fake love. So he's put a hashtag there. Fake friends, fake love. And apparently there's a certain number of potential Jewish people who thought that maybe what he meant was Jewish people killed Jesus, they're fake, something like this. And so the case study we're looking at is obviously the speed to which he went and confirmed, and then his long apology note. So that's one thing. So the first thing is obviously Jewish people being obviously getting that wrong. And then them making it clear, the speed to which he jumped in and had to apologize, but also the speed towards other people who like the post, more particularly this Jennifer Acton Friends lady, and how she came on and said that Jamie Foxx, shame on him, what he's saying is wrong, and all the other stuff. Let me take that down again. I think from the show hype. Yeah. So yeah, this is and I guess let's see if that thing's actually downloaded as well. This I guess what we're trying to gauge here is how power works. Like, it's interesting that even just thinking that someone is trying to say horrible things towards your people group. There you go, fixed. Even that needs to be apologized for. And obviously, black men, especially in Hollywood, those who are around many European Jewish people, potentially, they're up there, networking to make the rest of their career, marrying European women, all that kind of stuff. They obviously they have an invested interest in not, upsetting people, and obviously, I suspect that's all contributing to why Jamie Foxx jumped on, rather than saying, "No, I didn't mean that." Like, didn't mean it. It's like, yeah, that's what it is. I didn't mean it. He doesn't. It doesn't think it. He doesn't look. MD2, just read that again. Jennifer Aniston is just being a Karen in this situation, trying to get Jews to blast him. So yeah, yeah. I mean, apparently as well. I think he also dated or was with the ex-wife of Tom Cruise. I think a European lady, and I think recently he said he wants to be. I don't know if it could be true or not. I haven't done the full research, but he wants to be back with her. I think people were saying, "Well, did she visit you when you were ill or stuff?" I have no idea. But yeah, something like that's happening. But anyway, that is the thing that we wanted to cover a few weeks back. Let us know your thoughts on that. Does this teach black people how power works? I mean, we observed other celebrities who said certain things that was interpreted as anti-Semitic, and many of them, if not all of them, had to really do like the tour. I think that the tour is like you apologize publicly, you go to a museum of Jewish history of some kind, and maybe you pay some kind of charity. So we had a list there, but maybe I should try to get for the show. But then we were even talking ourselves like, well, that's a very good strategy, really. But maybe black people should have that the same. So when perceived that you're practicing anti-black racism, there should be a tour that people go, an apology as well, and then maybe raise money for black economic business. Who knows? So yeah, that's what that was. Let me see if I can actually add this as well. So what we're gonna do now is, while I try to stick the join now link, I'm hoping it works properly. We're gonna play a trailer of Jamie Foxx's latest film called "They Clone Tyrone," which we do a case study. This is just the trailer. This will give me enough time to stick the link up. Okay, I think this one on. Hopefully the audio has this as well. Come on. Hopefully the audio has. That'll be terrible.
Everything okay, baby?
Where the money at? I'm an entrepreneur. I work in the spirit of the pandemic.
That's the car right there. Shit, they got an elevator in this bitch.
Slick, come on. That make your spine senses tingle. What kind of shit is this?
Like I'm in the twilight zone. Don't let the back door hit you.
We gotta go.
I don't know what that was, but that wasn't me.
Somebody is conducting experiments on us.
It's in the fucking chicken.
This shit in everything.
Great train. Come the fuck on. This our homeland. We don't do nothing about it. Nobody will.
Don't let the back door hit you.
Chill. Just fucking chill.
Shit! Oh, this motherfucker did. Okay, we got
Excuse the language. Obviously, we tried to put profanity, but this is where we're doing a case study.
Tyrone negativity. Go get me some goddamn wet lips. Something You keep your pimp hand raised and be willing to protect the ones you love by any means necessary. I ain't scared. I'm a dope boy, remember? Excuse me, kind sir, but if you could point me to the elevator that leads down to the freaky laboratory,
Don't let the back door hit you.
I'll be out your atmosphere. Let's get it, man.
We're on the
this
scene
don't
trying to
Tyrone
figure out
next now.
what has happened.
IG, this shit fucked up. They out here cloning this. What the fuck going on in this bitch?
That's right, that is the prevailing theory.
Man, the trailer does look quite bad. As in, just very stereotypical. I haven't seen the trailer before. I've seen the film though. That looked quite bad. Let me not say anything. Anyway, yeah. So just to get a consensus, the people viewing live now, obviously those who in the future you can't do it, but give me a 1 if you've seen the film, and give me a 2 if you haven't seen the film, because we're going to talk about the film. I'll post the link in the group. Feel free to jump in and give your analysis of what you thought of the film. I was asking, we're going to do this as well. We're going to do case studies of films and stuff, and some of the brothers asked if we could maybe case study this one or just see if there's anything productive or not productive or any hidden messages or thing that should or shouldn't have been, whatever you want to say. But if you could give a 1 if you've seen the film and a 2 if you have not seen the film, that would be super helpful. I do enjoy movies generally, so I know sometimes it's never good to just reveal things, but that's why we give people a heads up. But we will be talking about plots and what we think it's about and stuff. And we just saw the trailer there. Trailer looked very I don't know, very, because I think it started off with introducing the character's profession. So I'll do a quick breakdown. Let me go on the picture. Let me get that back. So a little synopsis, whatever. Basically they're in a town, which of the town it is, and there's 3 characters, and you see them. You see them on the picture there, but you also see them in the trailer. And one character is a working woman known as a prostitute. One character is a pimp. I don't know what the other word is, pimp. And one character is a drug dealer. So already, some people might sort of, very stereotypical. It's a slight, maybe dark comedy or comedy film on Netflix. I think it might be doing quite well. I don't know. And they're in a town and they're doing their activities. But obviously, the spin or the whatever it is, and I think they revealed it in the trailer, so I'm not saying much anyway. But they suspect something nefarious is going on because, I've only got one, so I'll just talk about plots now. If you don't want to hear it, feel free to cut off now. What I was going to say, not that everyone's as strict about movies as maybe others. But yeah, anyway, so one of the characters gets shot, as you do in these kind of films, and that should be the end of them. But they see this character again the next day, and they're pondering, what's going on there. So then, they try to research, and then they realize that there is some kind of cloning facility going on in their neighborhood. And this is where maybe if there is any criticisms of the film, this might be a saving grace. I don't know. You have to do the case study. They're saying that all the problems in that community seem to be caused by some kind of corporation who benefits from ignorance. So there's activities they do to make Black people in that particular community act completely nonsensical. And things from drugging the food to music, I think, to you name it. And I guess it's some kind of like, maybe it's a life imitating art in a abstract way, in the sense of, well, technically the food you eat and the music you listen to can contribute to doing things that's not in your community's best interest. and people would say that that's definitely not being controlled by black people. So, what's happening there? So it is. But to be honest, let me not give my rambles. If there's anyone who wants to jump in, the link's there. Jump in, have your say before I start revealing all this. But we were asked if we could cover it. While people are pondering, I'll play the trailer. I mean, the trailer's got quite a lot of foul language, but we are past 10 o'clock. Let me, because I wasn't looking at the screen. Let me see if there's any visuals. All right. Feel free to jump in when you can.
Where the money at?
They said hustler.
I work in the spirit of the pimp game.
You know your girl gotta know what's going on in these streets.
And the pro. And you see there's obviously a person who looks like they've been attacked and they're walking, and so this brother's seeing himself in the distance, like, how can I see myself? And then someone comes and picks them. Oh yeah, let me actually break that. Might be interesting. Let me break down what's seen in the trailer. What a good idea. For those who don't really have the technology to see it. So yeah, so this individual is looking at himself who's just been shot, and some kind of X-Files van is taken away.
That's the car, right?
And then that's very mysterious.
Yeah.
And then they're now checking out a mysterious car that seems to be watching them. Walk into a house where the car is parked. In the trailer showing you this. What's this? Hold on. Oops, can you hear me? Yeah, sure. Welcome, brother Darth Revan. I'm getting a message saying there's delays, but it looks like are we still live? We are still live, right?
Hey, Revan, how you doing, man? You
very
right?
good, very good. Have you seen They Clone Tyrone?
Say that again.
Have you seen the film They Clone Tyrone?
I've not seen the film They Clone Tyrone, but it's quite intriguing and interesting why Jamie Foxx would make a movie like that or something. Is he just trying to grab headlines or something like that? But he seemed to have gone through some repercussions for such a title of a film or something like that, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So just to update, I don't know if there's anything connected to what happened to him before or now, but or if there's any kind of pushback. I haven't seen anything, but the film is, I guess, some kind of comedy, and but there is much people thinking, and as Dominic is saying, is it a mockery film? Is it mocking black people?
Is it a mockery of what?
Of black people in general. So in America, because they're playing stereotypical roles that you would find in a genre known as blaxploitation, and you don't see, you don't see too many constructive roles in there, if at all. But I guess what the movie's trying to say is the reasons why people in this film is that way is because there is a corporate control behind making everyone behave this way, and there's an invested interest in making black people act foolish, destructive, I should say. But you haven't seen the film. But even though you haven't seen the film, are you aware of Jamie Foxx being asked to apologize for a comment he posted on Twitter?
Not necessarily a comment he posted on Twitter, but I am aware about how Hollywood behaves and all that stuff to certain black people and how it likes to portray certain black people or black stories or something like that. We have it in the BBC as well, but I'm not aware that he's been made to apologize for such a thing and all that kind of stuff. And it's quite interesting and all that stuff. But it's quite interesting. All this is happening right after he's kind of recovered and all that stuff. So he seems like he's a bit unabashed in a way. He seems a bit unabashed, or I'm finding he just wants to speak his mind or something like that. Should that be looked at as a positive thing? What do you think?
What, that he doesn't want to, that he's not speaking his mind? Or what do you mean? As in,
no, that he wants to speak his mind, because what it looks like is like he was brought close to death's door. The guy was brought close to death's door and all that stuff. And if you have been brought all to that and you survived it, I think your mindset will be in you know what? I don't know. I don't give a shit anymore. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't care anymore.
If you can. Yeah.
I'll watch my language. I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna do what I can. You understand? So I think he's slowly exposing certain things and letting people know certain things and all that kind of stuff. I like his move there and all that stuff. He's slowly but surely exposing some things. It's not going the most like extreme route of doing it, but if you've been brought to death's door, I'm telling you, like you wouldn't care about anything anymore. To be honest, I think that's where Jamie Foxx's state of mind is at the moment.
Okay, thanks for that. If there's anyone else who has an opinion or wants to join in, the link should be in the forum. Just click. What we're doing is we're doing a case study.
It's just a conversation. They should join in. It's just a conversation.
Definitely, yeah. The good idea. We're doing a case study of they cloned Tyrone. If you've seen the film, jump in. If not, let us know. We were watching the trailer. We were breaking it down. So we're gonna go back to breaking it down. Let me just. But feel free to click on while you think your thoughts. I just press. Hold on. This is. Trailer.
An elevator in this bitch.
Slick, come on. That make your spine senses tingle. What kind of shit is this?
Like I'm in the twilight zone.
Don't let the back door hit you.
Now he's looking and he's seen a dead corpse of him when he got down this elevator.
We gotta go.
I don't know what that was, but that wasn't me.
Somebody
There's some European scientists underground. Looks like they do some kind of study.
is conducting experiments on us.
They're now in a restaurant and everyone's giggling and laughing and they realize this doesn't seem normal. I think he's think maybe the food might be contaminated.
It's in the fucking chicken.
This shit in everything.
Great train. Come the fuck out. This our homeland. We don't do nothing about it. Nobody
Was
will.
this the movie that he was supposed to release? Was this the movie that he was supposed to release? Was this a movie that he was supposed to he was acting or supposed to release before he got poisoned and all that stuff?
I think he did before. Yeah, I think before. Well, listen, we're joined by Brother Dominic. Welcome, Brother Dominic. I don't know if you can hear me.
Welcome, Brother Dominic.
Let us know if you can hear Brother Dominic. Turn your mic on. If not, let us know. You can always give us a message in the chat if you're talking and we can't hear you.
I'll tell you today. I'll be the most comfortable that I can be. I will not do any swear words or anything like that. I will be my best professional behavior.
There you go. Thank you, brother. Dominic, can you hear us?
If I start to act any bit better, you can just kick me out and all that stuff. But I'll try to be in my professional state.
We'll try our best to work with you to make you that way. Brother Dominic, can we hear you? I think he's going to come back. But Brother Dominic was another one of the strong opinion on the direction of this particular film. And you know, the thing is, there's a history of what's known as blaxploitation. You should look it up. And blaxploitation happened when Black people first started to be able to make films, but a lot of the films that were made and funded, they're very stereotypical, and some people weren't best pleased with that. And this film might be, I'm not saying it's blaxploitation style-wise, so it might be a little bit twist, but it's you know, people might say it's highlighting negative aspects of Black people in the States. And
you said black exploitation or black exploitation. Is that what you said right there?
Yeah. So there's a genre known as blaxploitation, and this genre started in the late '60s in America, and it was basically after civil rights came in. There was a whole lot of films being funded by companies, and they would finally hire Black people, Black content, but they were focusing more so, for the most part, on the negative aspects of the American life, and as we saw pimps, drug dealers, and so forth. We're joined again by Brother Dominic. Welcome, Brother Dominic. Can you hear? I think your microphone is on. There's no, if you're using there's also a button you press. If you see any buttons you can press to turn mic, or that might that might be helpful. But if you can't, maybe you can use a PC or maybe you can use a phone. I don't know what mechanism you're using. Well, I don't.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Can
We can hear you now, brother Dominic. Is that you? Oh, we did hear you. We did hear you. Is that rain? Oh, yeah, brother Dominic. One more. Let us know. We did hear you a bit, but it cuts. I don't know. Not sure what was happening there. But when you get time, just click in. I'm sure we'll just jump in. We'll go back.
Black Betterment. I think one thing that will be very good for your show is to talk about contemporary, modern British TV about black people, or the TV about black people on British, on prime time British television and all that kind of stuff. So we can break it all down and have opinion about that. That will actually go a long way, and also including this. This is actually important because like it's a movie and all that stuff. So it's like you're talking about modern contemporary stuff. But you do have some shows in British television that portray black people in a certain type of light and all that. Is that how we all think about things and all that stuff? So I think you may have a space in that as well. Putting commentary or reaction on British TV on black people.
No, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, good idea. I mean, and if there's anyone out there who has any, now we usually request based. So if there's any particular shows that people have seen that wants to cover, I think we covered one show a couple months back. It was Black Britain, and I think it was Black Britain, and I think there was a lady who didn't identify as black. She identified as mixed, but she was had a strong opinion about a lot of stuff. And I think,
but you know what fascinates me? Like, why are they putting all these black issues on the limelight on television? It's like a spectacle, just like this. Why are they putting black issues? Like some black people that feel they're not mixed race, or black people that feel they're white or something. Why are they putting it on the limelight on television? It's like making a spectacle out of something and all that. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating in a way. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would say this, yeah. Issues do need to get covered, but I would say if you're part of a group that doesn't get represented too much on any kind of media, it's very important that the way that it's handled is done with care and consideration. There has to be balance. So you want to highlight things that's wrong in the community, but at the same token, you want to give examples of things going right and give a full spectrum. I think in that one it was quite problematic because I think they had two girls who were against dating. I can't remember. It was a few months about.
I think that's your space, rapper, to talk about modern contemporary stuff on Black British TV and all that stuff. That's your space and all that kind of stuff, because a whole lot of people are opinionated about that. Because I'll be watching some British TV and I don't feel something like lately. I watched that show. Imagine that it kind of portrayed the black man as being some kind of simp as well, where the women were talking about, if the man can't afford, then you send him back to his. I saw that on TikTok and all that stuff. I was like, it just looks so, the optics look so bad. I was like, why are they putting black people as if we are the main problem with these issues and all that? We are the one custodians of these issues and all that stuff. So it's like the issues is for everybody, but black people are used as a spectacle. Black people are used as a spectacle on TV to portray all these negative habitats about marriage, family life, all that kind of stuff. It really annoys me. I don't know, but I'm I think Raprivan, you have a space there, but I don't want to digress. I don't want to subtract.
Thank you, brother. We're joined again by brother Dominic. He was having challenges with his microphone. Let's see if it's working out. Brother Dominic, can you hear us?
Yes, brother. Can you hear me?
We can. That's fantastically good. Welcome to the show, brother. Betterment to you.
That Betterment to you as well, brother. And good evening to everyone in the background or in the chat. I just want to ask a question, maybe. What did you think of the film itself? They cloned Tyrone.
Well, I think that it pretty much focused on like negative stereotypes of African American community, perceived, stereotypes or whatever. So for that, it just seemed like a kind of like a dark comedy flick to try to tap into that kind of issue. But I think if there's a saving grace or something that that we can mention is the film, I guess, places blame on the people who are controlling the town in the plot, right? So I guess in that there is some kind of message in that these people are behaving this way because other people are making them do that. European white people are making black people behave this way. Um, but yeah, that was the kind of message I got. But the thing is with Hollywood and stuff, it's almost like slave films where it's like, you know, that you see them, they really want to show black men and women getting beat, but they don't necessarily want to show black men and women killing enslavers. So sometimes there is a power in the visuals. Like there is like I visually want to see black people getting beat. So even though there might be some subplot of black, the truth is that black people are being controlled, whatever, you're still seeing negative stereotypes on a consistent level without any kind of. I don't think there's any saving grace in the characters. But then that's just me. That's just me. My first breakdown. How about yourself, brother? You've seen it probably before me. So what?
Yeah, I saw it the first day it came out.
Okay.
And I was talking about this to my friend, and funny enough, he said, and I kind of thought this as I was watching it as well: is this a film or is this a documentary? Because you know how you get certain films nowadays, especially in modern times, where most films seem to be a documentary of life, as you said, life imitating art or art imitating life. Because it's funny how they put certain things, for example, the chicken.
Yes.
And it's a very stereotype where black people supposedly we all love chicken. Yeah, of course we like chicken. That's not to say that's all we eat. You didn't see nothing in that film that we ate except for chicken in that film. And the biggest provider for chicken, let's say for black people, let's say it's KFC. It's owned by a white person. And for them to supposedly put stuff in the chicken in the film to make us be under control. Is that a documentary in them saying this is what we're doing? Do you get what I mean? Because I really don't take Hollywood for a joke anymore, because certain things that they do really is a reflection of life, and I can go into deeper things, but that's for another story, and they chose only 3 characters: a pimp, a prostitute, and a drug dealer in the film. The guy who was working for the company that was controlling black people, he said, we needed to keep order, or you got to have roles in the community for you to be controlled. So none of us could have been a doctor. None of us could have been a lawyer in this community. When you really watch the film, you start seeing for what Hollywood's really thinking. Because if you wanted to control us and have a community that's controlled, why do we have to have a negative character? Why can't it be a lawyer, a doctor? We won't know any different because we're still being controlled and manipulated by the things that we're eating and the things that were put in their hair, because they even had hair products, that were being supplied by them. And it is just a mockery. It really is a mockery, because there's nothing really positive in that film that really represents black people. I'm surprised Jamie Foxx and John Boyega even wanted to do that film, knowing the storyline or the plot.
Well, I'm reading it now. So what I'm getting from it, before I move on, welcome Empress Kush to the Black Band, to yourself, sister. Welcome. Have you seen the film, sister? Have you seen it?
I watched the film.
Okay, cool. So what? Before you give your breakdown, let's break down. I'm just reading the stuff. It's directed by I think it's like Joel Taylor, This is his feature film debut. But he also written or co-written with a European, and that's a black guy, by the way. But he wrote with a European guy, Tony Rottermeier, something like that. I don't know. Let me just Google that name. I don't know if the heavy lifting was done by the director or the writer, but there is co-written by name. Let's type name. By, a white guy. Let's see in the history of his name, but it's not coming up. Cool, whatever. Yeah. So blah, blah, blah. So yeah. So sister, is any thoughts on seeing the film and anything you want to bring up at all?
Hi, sorry, I was looking for the mute button. Yeah, I think I see things a bit differently. So, but I just kind of I don't really see the mockery aspect of it because I do think that I need to watch it again though, because there was a part in there that just had me like, So I do need to watch it again, but I don't really see that mockery aspect of it because I feel like it's literally just putting it in your face. You understand the blatant stereotypes. I think they're just blatant stereotypes of what we all know, and that's why they're even like over exaggerated. So there's no misunderstanding kind of thing. Like I think a lot of things is in the face. Like when I think it was Brother Dominic, he was talking about the hair and the chicken. Like the chicken one was so interesting just because obviously, over here it's chicken and chips, over there it's fried chicken, and we know that there's an issue right now going on with the food. We know that there's a lot of issues in regards to what goes into the food is making men lose their testosterone and all of these stuff we know is going on with the food. So basically I feel like that's a nod to that, to be like, who are we getting this food from? And the hair as well, what she was doing was like a form of like relaxer, right? And we know that there's a lot of chemicals in the relaxer. So again, it was an ode to that. And each of these things, the music as well, I don't know if that got mentioned when I was coming in, but the fact that they called the music the ruckus beat, as in i.e. Uncle Ruckus.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? And the fact that that's how I saw it as, and the fact that when they were listening to the music, they got docile, just like when they were in the chicken, they were just laughing. They had their senses went, because obviously we know that this happens with the chemicals, the food, the music is literally, there's no message in the music. It's just like, the typical criticism of the music. So that's what we're seeing as the ruckus beat, it's sellout music. So to me, and then if you look at the people who were in these positions, so for example, the people who were selling the chicken, did you notice that they were white with afros?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that vibe as well, with the fact that how we're constantly, with the intersection of having maybe people from other communities always at the head of what we are always consuming, i.e. our hair, our food, chicken chip shop, stuff like that. Like the brother said about like KFC, again, who's the owner of that? But then obviously they mock it. We'll put the Afro on because we've always welcomed them, like the Tim Westwoods. Do you know what I mean? The little spicy ones, the ones with little flavour. So yeah, for me, I just think it was just a blatant message to us that, look, wake up, like they are attacking us in every which way. I think the fact of them having those three in those roles, again, you've got the A-pro, you've got the hustler, and you've got the pimp. Like in any classic stereotype movie, you're going to have one of them in there. Again, do you know what I mean? I just think it's so like, that was the whole point of the message. Like, this is how they see us. And the kind of thing of them dying and reliving again, and then we finding out that when they said that they want to keep this going on, I think Tyrone is just another example, like just another guy, another statistic. These people are statistics. That's what they are. That's why they're so like flamboyant and stereotypes. They're statistics. So we can get rid of one, but you're going to come back. You're going to come back in that exact position, because this is how we need you in them. We don't need you to be elevated in doctors and things like that. We need you to constantly continue the cycle. And I think that's why you could kind of see it in different ages near the end. So that's kind of the message for me. I think it was a wake up message to people. I think it's like in the same beat as, you know, the other black movie like Get Out and things like that. It's just obvious now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think black directors can finally do what they want to do. They've not been able to be so bait like this for like ever. And I think they're just giving it to us, and it's for us to look deeper, like into the messaging, because there was so much messaging in that.
Yeah, no, that's that's a good breakdown analysis, I would say. And I think we start by saying that there is like split where some people think the visuals is a challenge for them, but some people say it's mitigated by the fact that they try to explain why black people might be acting this way, and it's a connection to non-black people affecting, you know, food, music, life choices, this kind of stuff, education, whatever, right? So that's but like I said, everyone's opinion is cool. What I'm going to do as well, I'm going to read. I had it here disappeared. So just the influence of the film. So the film is a homage to blaxploitation from the 70s. It says, featuring elements of satire, mystery, horror, science fiction, and absurd humor. The influence of the film was also They Live, Groundhog Day, It Follows, and Napoleon Dynamite. And what else was there? Yep. So yeah. And it seems the marketing, they have conspiracy theories and Tuskegee studies experiment, which was done on black people. Also got a song called Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me. So I do think that Empress Kush is on the side where it's like this was done to potentially highlight, you know, a reason why, in an abstract way, black people might act a way. But then some people are still not best pleased. How about anything to add to that, brother Dominic? Is it? No, is the,
I was going to add, it actually highlights like blatantly that we just don't own anything. Everything that any character had in that film was provided by a white man, and even they tried to, like Empress Christie said, they tried to blend in the white man with Afro hair, so it's not obvious to us that it's coming from a white man. Do you get what I mean? It's the same analogy in the UK. You know, the hair products that we get is coming from the Asian communities because they own the shops. You know, or the chicken, you know, is coming from the Asian community. You know, unless we're going to the main supermarkets. You know, so I see the similarities in the US and the UK.
Yeah, I agree. I think Stanley asked, is us American blacks or diasporan blacks? And I think obviously this movie is based within America and a very like centered, focused stereotype of black Americans. But as I keep telling you, Stanley, when people see this, they don't look for borders or ask for where you're from or your birth certificate first. No. The images of black of stereotypes, even if they are happen to be born in America, is what everyone has to deal with. It's the image that they portray of all of us. So, yeah.
Well, that helps, Brother Stanley. You're always welcome to join in if you're confused at all with anything. But what we're doing for those joining now, we were case studying a film called They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix. We're seeing, you know, is there any messagings? Looks like Brother Stanley disagrees with something. Feel free to word that, Brother Stanley, and jump in. You're always welcome, as long as you're constructive in some way.
Could I just add something in, David?
Of course.
Did anyone notice? I don't know. Empress Christie put this in at the end of the film. You know, there was another clone of Tyrone, the original Tyrone.
Yeah.
A lot older. He said that his end goal was that we become white anyway, because if you look.
That was. That's why I got to watch it again.
In the scene near the end of the film, in the background, there's men like 6, 7, 8 men in the cubicles,
Yeah, I remember seeing
It-
and you can see him getting lighter, isn't it?
getting lighter and lighter.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he said it started with the people working in the chicken shops with their afros. It's an experiment for us to get lighter, and it really really gives an interesting input when they put that at the end of the film.
It is, because it does leave you just re-looking at that's why I said I've got to look at it again, because I was like, there's definitely something else in there that I didn't watch, because I remember him saying that the hair is so stubborn, like we got the skin but it's just that hair. Do you remember that part? And it's
Yeah.
I was like, so that's the reason why they had the afro. That's what makes them stand out a bit, or you make them look at them funny, like that something's not adding up here. But yeah, I definitely did notice that part. I don't get it though.
Yeah, well, why would you want to? He's black himself, but he wants the goal to be we're all white, So it's like you're anti-black, and it makes you wonder, because he said he had a brother. I forgot what the boy's name was.
Oh yeah, who got shot, and that was the memory that he put on all of them. So they've got that trauma.
It's like he hated to be black or something, subconsciously, not saying it, but he's saying it in different ways.
So just obviously, my memory is not as good as it once was, but if we talk about particular things, maybe we can give quick breakdowns of. So I think you said something like a video recording. So if I'm right, I think what these scientists are doing is they're replaying memories or recordings in people's minds.
In the clones.
And I guess to create either for them to remember a certain scenario or make them act a certain way of hostility or something.
To keep them in that state, yeah.
Right.
And that part I understand. That's why I get that kind of messaging of what they're doing. But then, like what the bro said, this whole thing about turning them white at the end was just like a whole twist. Like I was like, okay, I need to watch it again, because I thought I was getting it, which I think it is there, but there is something else into that, I think. And also I wanted to ask as well, did anyone see any females cloned?
You know what?
Yeah, the prostitute was cloned as well.
I don't think she was,
I thought she was.
There's a part you do see it, but it's a very short clip of it.
Okay, because I thought.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Her name. So the characters are called. Yo-Yo is the working woman. John Fontaine, Tyrone, sorry, is John Bayoga, the hustler guy, and Jamie Foxx is Slick Charles. It looks like, and they've also got an actor from a famous show called 24, who was like one of the main villains, a European villain named Nixon.
Yeah, Keith something. That's his name. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Let me ask, did they clone Yo-Yo? Her name was Yo-Yo. Did they clone Yo-Yo? While they moved from the lab in the lab, Fontaine and Stick found themselves getting mind controlled by music, but Yo-Yo had somehow been spared from the cloning process.
Okay, my bad.
And would it be that wasn't there a bit, I could be wrong, where there's a way to control any clones? And she couldn't be controlled, so
she couldn't get it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, if they said certain words, then they automatically switch off.
Yeah, so just to break down, so what it is, because they clone people who are the people who have been actually cloned, for those listening, there's certain frequencies or words that can be said to them to make them not do things, and that's a fail safety act, so the Europeans don't accidentally get hurt in certain situations, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so that's interesting, because I was thinking, I don't know if it's me, but I've not seen any black females cloned in that, and I don't think that was by accident. But that's why I've got to watch it again, because that part to me was very interesting as well.
So unless you get like usually in writing, you get duo partners where there's two people they write together. But usually when you get two writers, it's usually like you have one person who comes up with a story and the other who makes a screenplay. So screenplays, they take the overall arching story and they just fizzle out words so it actually can be remembered and acted. So I'm not too sure if because this guy Jewel Taylor, I mean yeah, Jewel Taylor. This looks like it's his first movie. He also wrote it with a European guy, and he's the producer. So it's quite a lot of
I've got
respect.
it on here that he's been in Creed 2 2018. He says Jill Taylor was born the 1st of May 1987 in Tuskegee, Alabama, USA. So that's
Yeah,
an important fact there as well if we know about our history. He's a writer and director known for They Clone Tyrone 2023, Creed 2 2018, and Transformers Rise of the Beast 2023.
he looks very. I mean, I don't like. He looks very trendy, Afro punky. If that makes sense. When I look at him,
Yeah,
like
I have seen him with a black woman though, so I don't want to assume anything. But yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about him to not. Do you know what I mean? To to say anything bad about him. But yeah, I mean, so far I've not seen anything that stands out about him particularly. But again, like I said, I just think that the fact that black women weren't cloned in there with every point in that movie being a message, I don't think that that's not a reason. I think they even mention it in the movie as well, that she wasn't cloned. So,
You couldn't be cloned.
sorry?
Is that because she could be cloned, or like you mean she could be controlled? So there's no point cloning her.
Well, I think the ones who could be controlled were the clones, because they were
Oh
clones.
yeah, they're clones. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so the fact that she isn't a clone could have also been an aspect of why she couldn't have been controlled, because she wasn't a clone. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I mean. It's like it's definitely
just a
one of those
man.
movies that
It's very very interesting that
it
they only
is
clone the man. You know, if you
the black
control
men as well.
clone, the black men,
Yeah,
then they can control the
exactly.
communities. I guess that's the way they're leading it into.
And you look at the stereotypes that they're cloning as well. They're cloning drug dealers, pimps, robbers. It's not like they're cloning, you know what I mean?
Well, not only that though. Now it's all coming to me. Even though she was a working woman, she also was highly educated, and she was only, I guess, doing that to pay for college. Something like I could be wrong, but I
Yeah,
remember out of all the characters, yeah, and that makes sense in the sense of the clone characters don't have that history because they're cloned, but she has a history of studying and trying to be something else apparently, right?
yeah, definitely. You can
It's all
see
coming.
she was more future focused, and that others were stuck in the present time, and they couldn't see going anywhere. You know, even the part where they had a scene where Tyrone will be coming out of a shop with alcohol and pouring it into that old man's cup, and he
Yeah.
just repeats the same day. And Tyrone's mum wasn't even real; it was
Yeah,
a
that was
voice
deep.
box. You know,
Again,
it was
another
saying the
message
same thing.
about family. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was deep, that one. Like how many times do people say that no one sits over the table and eat dinner anymore, and people like passing ships in the night? And that really is a legit great example of him just knocking on the door. You're right, mum. Yeah, I'm here just watching my show. All right, cool. He's gonna go about his business. There's no need for them to even meet. And that's again, I
yeah.
think that's another ode to what are we doing as a family? What is happening with our family dynamics? Do you know what I mean? Like, so some of them there, I think there were messages that were great and that I got, but I definitely think that there was other ones in there. So I think it's always going to be one of them movies that when you watch it again, you'll pick up something else. Because that was true. That family one, I was just like, wow. when he bust open the door and there's a tape there, yeah, that one
Like
was.
he's never been through the door before. It's just mad. Like because for him to feel is anyone in there, no one should even feel is your mum real or not. But because obviously he went through what he went through in the film, it kind of dawned on him like I don't really have anything. I don't own anything. You know, my actual life is just a construction of this white identity company that's controlling us. And the same thing happened at the end of the film in the West Coast, in I think it's Los Angeles, where you had the West Coast version of Tyrone in Canewell, and he did the same thing. Mum, do you need anything? And it's the same repeat, but it's just in a West Coast style.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's saying that basically we're just churning you lot out. You lot are just doing exactly what we want to do. You're just another Tyrone. You could be in the west, the north, the south, anywhere. You're just another statistic. Tyrone, even the name. I mean, Tyrone. Do you know what I mean? Like statistic, yo-yo. Do you know what I mean? Like literal, like overly obvious stereotypes. These are just statistics. Like he really wanted to make it clear that like this is how they see you. That you are a walking, talking statistic. I'm gonna call you Tyrone and Yo-Yo. Tyrone, you're gonna be a drug dealer, and you're gonna be a pro. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's hard hitting, isn't it, when you see it like that, like the way that and that's the beauty of movies for me, especially when they're done well.
It has done well. It's got 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's quite a hard site to get any ratings on.
Yeah, it was number one in Netflix for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so it did very well. But the way they promoted it, you knew it was going to get views. Plus with the actors that they have. So it was one of the things where the message would come out.
Yeah, the accident definitely coincided because I didn't think it was going to be what it was. Like it took a while for me to watch it because of all the hype about him being ill and then this thing about him cloning. I did not think it was going to be that as well. I don't think anyone really expected it to be that. I thought it was going to be some funky sci-fi thing, but obviously an ode to exploitation black movies. But that's it. I didn't think that there was going to be this much messaging and stuff. So I think kind of people saw what happened with Jamie Foxx. Obviously, Jamie Foxx, I don't think handled it the best way for his fans. And then now this came out, and it was just, I think people just took it and just thought, oh, another one. Do you know what I mean? But if you actually give it a chance and look at it, I think it's messaging, in and out of it. And I think that's why it's done so well, because these are the kind of movies that cults are made of, innit? The cult movies, I think they're called, where you watch it and there's another message and people have their own ideas of what it's about, and this all that underlining messaging and all of that. So I was impressed, because I think I wasn't expecting much, as like Brother Dominic said, from another Hollywood movie. So yeah, when I started looking, I think when I saw the manager come out with a white man in an afro, I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, they're trying to tell us something here.
So I'm just looking at the thing, just seeing some reviews. They clone Tyrone movies a forced assimilation, where clones are a metaphor for the way in which white America only finds black people and black culture palatable and worthy of money, power, and comfort for white society if they are whitewashed. Yeah, so that when I was watching it, just like Christy said, with many of that, some of the director written black stuff that gets funded, there is this, like, you kind of do see there is this not hidden message, but almost like abstract message that parodies some kind of truth, right? But they spell it out at high, very, very high extreme rates. And this is definitely that, like, it becomes a caricature of ideas. And I think I kind of got that. And that's why when I was watching it, because I went into it not necessarily knowing what, to be honest, I haven't actually seen any interviews or any reviews. So I never got anyone was happy or sad at all. I just watched it, and I kind of got that early, that they're trying to parody something. They're trying to have some kind of messaging about a reason why someone might act a certain way. But yeah, that's kind of why I got. I could be wrong.
I think as well the fact that there's not much interviews with them, although I've not really looked, to be honest. But if there's not that much out there, then that could be another thing as well. Like, typical like artists will just like, it's what you think of it or whatever, and maybe he'll come and tell us what he thought behind it as well. But I think it's definitely that, there's definitely a lot of messaging behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way they did the music, though. I can't lie, like the fact they called it ruckus as well. I just burst out laughing. Do you know what I mean?
What's
I
the rap
just was
song?
like laughing. Sorry.
The rap song.
I think it was like there was a few songs. It was all under the genre of ruckus.
Right. Oh, so as a genre.
Yeah,
Right.
it felt like a genre. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, that is another ruckus track. Like, and the DJ again. Did you see the DJ? He popped up again, white man with the afro. Like, so, and he was behind the scenes, and I think at one point it was getting a bit messy, and they were in the dance floor, and one of the afro. Yeah, spoke to the DJ. Did you see that one? I told them to put on the ruckus tune, and they all mellowed out. And I'm like, look at that. So yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a good watch for that. Do you know what I mean?
So,
For those, do you know what I mean, that see it and it, like those little things in there. What you say? Yeah,
yeah, because when I was seeing the film, and you don't think it is going to be what it is, because you just think it's just going to be like a funky movie, especially when you see Jamie Foxx in like a funky Afro style haircut, and then when you start seeing it like at least 2/4 halfway through the film, it makes you put your head up and think, is this really what they really think of us? But we all knew this before anyway. But when you see it like in a big film like this, especially all over like Netflix as a platform, it just kind of perks you up to think, yeah, we need to be more aware of this, because if they could put this in a film, it shows you that they don't have no real qualms to put this blatantly in our face on the big platform.
Yeah, we should do a case study on blaxploitation films, and because I mean I'm a fan of blaxploitation films, but I'm aware that they focus more so on some of the the negative side of black society. But funny enough, just like I guess we're saying now, they also use it to highlight many problems that was caused from outside, and that's where they would use things like "stick it to the man" and all these kind of frames in there. I remember. Well, yeah, it would be good to because it does say that this is a gender bending, interesting word, a genre, sorry, a gender bending homage to blaxploitation.
I was like, gender bending?
I'm thinking,
gender bending? No, I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that one, didn't I? Sorry, gender. But it's satire, mystery, horror, science fiction, and absurdist humor. Surreal humor when you click on it, expense, surreal humor. So I did get that. Yeah, I did get that. Well, if you guys, yeah, definitely. So if you want to know about blaxploitation films, let me read some. So let me read some of the name of some of these blaxploitation films. The Black Godfather, The Black Six, Johnny Tough, Free Tough Guy, TNT Jackson, Truck Turner, The Black Gestapo. There's a film called Boss N-Word. That's a cowboy film. And very interesting film. A very interesting song. I remember hearing that song. That's a very good song. Well, and what was the ones I remember, like Count? Is it Count Blackula and Blackenstein? Dolomite is Dolomite. Yeah, Dolomite. Yes, Dolomite and
what about Jackie Brown?
Jackie Brown might be. Let me check. Jackie Brown. Yes, Jackie Brown. Yeah, 1974. Yep, the Mac. Yeah, I mean, very, very, very groovy, funky films, and a lot of them were productions by black people. I think funded by obviously Europeans or by America, but then once again they were stereotypical in certain things, but they still did try to put a kind of social realism, why and what to look out for. And they generally seem to be more unified in their concepts of like black people sticking together for the most part.
And let's not forget the imagery. You know, it's always natural black hair. You know, demonstrations of black love.
Yes.
You know, bright colors, natural beauty. Like all of that is just it's beautiful on its own. You know.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I agree with what Stanley said here, where he said, I think these types of messages get muted by mainstream American culture. And I probably agree from what I can see from overseas. I probably should state that. But that's exactly the same case here. With these kind of real messages are never going to come through a mainstream media. So that's probably again why we've not heard so much about it, because what are they really going to say? But you ask them when they got to write up about the movie, what are they going to say about the current state that Black people are currently facing? No, they don't want this highlighted. So that's probably why it's quiet, and it might just end up being like another Black film cult, that's going to be around for the ages and might just not get it now, but people start realizing it later. That it'll be like a what's the one with the cartoon I love? Oh, the one that's got Mr. Uncle Ruckus in it. Boondocks. Yeah, it might. Yeah, the Boondocks cartoon. So it might just be like the Boondocks, where people are like, oh, this was predicted, or they said this, or this is what they were showing us. I could definitely see that. So I just think that it's going to be, that's why I don't want to bash on it, and because it might just be. There's a reason why there's not so much noise mainstream, because they do not want Black people to be so aware of it that they're actually mocking it, and not mocking it, but saying a message through satire, which again demonstrates a level of understanding something and still making fun of it, but realizing it's there. That's the level of awareness there. So yeah,
the Boondocks was made by. It was originally a comic satire.
Yeah, it was comic
from
I think it's Carl something Carl.
Aaron Magruder, I think his name is. And
there was two of them. That's probably for the cartoon. Oh yeah, because he had to. I saw the story of him, so it was just the one guy, and then he met the guy to make the cartoon of it, which was it's just brilliant. I just think that needs to be watched by every kid. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that it's like, like around, I don't know, going into secondary school, like we definitely need to sit kids down and watch that.
Yeah, when I was talking about they clone Tyrone and parody and stuff, the Boondocks says that really well, where it highlights absurd things that happen in Black communities,
exactly,
and then kind of makes like a parody,
makes a joke about it.
Yeah, to show the absurdness, and it really was quite extreme, from R. Kelly court cases where he sings to get out of jail, and Martin Luther King coming back to, he wasn't actually dead, he was in a coma, and he comes back to he doesn't approve of the behaviors of Black people, something like that. Very extreme, funny stuff. But the thing with people,
there's a lot of messaging as well, like the sellout. I don't know what he was with his woman from out of race.
Yes,
the little kid, the fact that it was a little kid, which is typical of any movement. It's always the youth that are revolutionary, and he just couldn't get with it, just knowing that something went right and following his intuition. Uncle Ruckus, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, and again, this is what I mean, I can't knock this, because this is kind of the style of Black people within movies. This is how we get our messages out traditionally. So definitely, like, that's why I linked it. I think I could definitely see a link in doing that. But yeah, the Boondocks was, I think, was brilliant piece of art.
It is. It's one of the best things.
Literally, I don't think I appreciated it.
I'm trying. It might not be the best quality, but I'm trying. The reason why I watched the Boondocks was my friend gave me the intro. I'm going to see if I can download the intro and play it. Not the intro, the first scene on the first season. And I remember watching it and thinking, yeah, I need to watch all of these. But I'm going to download it.
And it was hard back then to get them as well. It weren't like now.
Yeah, we had to use LimeWire.
Literally, people forget.
Yeah, it was quite. If you haven't seen the Boondocks, it's definitely recommended watching. And I think, unfortunately, the way that he left the season because he wasn't being treated well, something like this. But
it's a shame. People are still calling for it now.
Yeah, it was definitely very good. And but the point I want to make about him was he was educated. Why is it? Nah, I want the audio. I need the video. Yeah, the awareness is what I'm talking about. Is like if you're aware of some of the social issues and the reasons behind it, and you can be a force to try to, creatively find solutions or highlight, and that's very important. Maybe this wouldn't go. Nope, not found.
Well, while you're looking for that, I'll just answer Stanley. Yeah, I'm aware that before we would use oral. Initially, yes, because if we're going way back when, I don't think the invention of film was made yet, Brother Stanley. But I'm saying that in the direction of where Black people are doing movies to send a message, it normally goes along this lines, i.e. the other things that I've mentioned, like the other shows and things, where like Boondocks, for example, the same thing, saying something that is currently happening within society, which could be a detriment or something that could anger us, but to make awareness, we put it in satire. Like, we've done it with comedy. I mean, that's why Dave Chappelle was one of the greatest. Dave Chappelle literally tells us the truth, but somehow we are laughing. We go to him for the truth. Like when BLM happened, literally he didn't want to do that, and he said that people forced him to come out and do it. They were waiting for him to talk, and that he was their voice. So it's just, that's what I mean in regards to how we see it. But you can click the link and let me know how you disagree, because I don't want to read you wrong or nothing like that. So click the link, bro.
Yeah, feel free, bro. Jump in. I'm trying to find this thing. But guys, if you haven't seen the Boondocks, definitely try to. I don't know if it's probably not. I don't know if it's on any kind of streaming service. Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's a problem. But definitely,
I think it is. I think it is in America though. But I think over here probably be the same problem that it took us to get there. Same wahala.
Yeah.
Big up Brother Cal in the chat.
We go. I think Stanley's jumped in. Welcome, Brother Stanley.
Black Betterment.
Black Betterment.
I agree with him there when he says that Boondocks is really a unicorn. Yeah, it's a special thing.
Yeah. It was probably very hard for them to get it cleared and get it done. And I think that's why comic books, and we did say we were going to cover comic books before.
Yeah.
That's why comic books and also books are usually a good medium for. It's a very good medium for Black people to get into because, one, it takes less resources to do, and the idea is if it does really well in that medium, you can raise funds to get it done on a different, bigger scale. So that's is this what? Let me check. So that's something. I might. So yeah, that's amazing. So I'm gonna play the scene. I forget what. And so this is for those Boondocks. This won't get flagged or anything. Where is it? Downloads. That, and then arranged by modified. Can't see it though. I've got so much junk on it. Okay. Where is it? I'm just checking where it downloads because speaking of, welcome, Brother Stanley. I think let us know if your mic is working.
Has he put a message in the private chat?
Private chat. He said
no.
He's probably just trying to find his where is it? Oh man. So download there. So guys who are joining, we're looking at case studies of Jamie Foxx's They Clone Tyrone, and then we start thinking about other Black kind of satires and ways to interject hidden messages over very stereotypical kind of imagery. I have to adjust my browser settings. All right, Stanley, no rush. We're cool. We're here when you sort that. So where is that? Open Boondocks opening scene is where? No, you should open it in the folder. Why does it do that? Press the folder button. That might be done. Yeah, it is there. So it's six megabytes. Yeah. So almost done, family.
Brother Cal said they'll try and clone you, Brother Stanley. Better not eat that chicken.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie, Brother Cal? Brother Dominic, are you still there?
There we go. So, family, this is the first scene of the Boondocks. So hold on. Let's get it full screen. Are you not on full screen? Press that one. So, okay, drag it. This technology. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, start again. So this is the cartoon Boondocks that came up maybe 2005 or something. It's definitely worth watching if you can get it.
Excuse me, everyone, I have a brief announcement to make. Jesus was black, regular, and the government is lying about 9/11. Thank you for your time and good night. That can't be true! Ow!
Mm-hmm. You having that dream where you made the white people riot you.
But I was telling the truth.
How many times have I told you better not even dream about telling white folk to do? You understand me? Shoot. Making white people riot. You better learn how to lie like me. I'm gonna find me a white man and lie to him right now.
Makes you want to watch it all over again, doesn't it?
So obviously, in 2002, like I did the ultimatum. It was like that's the first scene in the first episode. So I said,
you know what you're getting from the off.
Yeah, you will never get content like that in any non-black made product, and there was very few non-black products of media nature. So that's what I'm saying. We definitely want to educate up-and-coming comedians and storytellers to have that kind of wit and try to incorporate, important. There we go. Stan's check you. There you go, Stan. We'll put you back in, Stanley.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I had to hop on my computer. My phone seems to be balking. You know what? I actually forget what I was going to say, but I want to go back. Well, y'all finish what you were saying, and then I want to address Kushti's point. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but I just have a kind of a nuance to add to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Empress Kushti, have you finished your point before Stan jumps in?
Yeah, I was just filibustering while Brother was pressing play. I was waiting for you to come. Go through, Brother Stanley.
Okay. Well, what I was saying, I understand your point about the Boondocks and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
What I'm even Chappelle and the Boondocks, and I can go back to like Richard Pryor or Red Fox, who was a particular favorite. Even though you have to be a Richard Pryor or a Dave Chappelle, normal everyday black people kind of making a joke, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, even Dave Chappelle, they're unicorns. It's not, and Dave Chappelle and his show doesn't happen every day. And if you go back and look at the original Chappelle show, I mean, he wound up basically walking off the set because he didn't like the way, Comedy Central wanted to well, basically they wanted to use.
They wanted to sell his soul.
Well, they wanted to control him. Aaron Magruder, he's not still doing Boondocks. eventually any sort of and y'all might be surprised to hear this, but anytime a Black person wants to get independent and kind of set his or her own agenda, same thing in the music industry. Um, they want to control your creative output. They want to own it. They want to control it. They want to water it down. And I that's my point. They're Magruder. These guys are unicorns. They're not everyday
Yeah,
occurrences.
I hear your point on that, and I think as a fellow brother overseas, it's good for you to mention that point. I think that is a good point to mention, that I should frame it more, say that although you said you understood my point, I think this probably highlights what I think is one of our skills in regards to maneuvering within mainstream guidelines, right? But still kind of,
I'm not fussing, by the way.
sorry?
I'm not fussing at
Yeah,
you.
well,
I'm not
I know, and I
fault.
think that is a good point to make, because when I was listening, I did agree with you that, like you said, there's probably loads of comedians out there, but like you said, there are certain ones who have, especially when you talk about his integrity there. We're talking about
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
So I 100%
I
agree with
mean,
you.
even take Trevor Noah. He's not on the Daily Show.
Is it not?
All these brilliant Black funny people who attempt to tell truths,
True. Yeah.
I mean, they don't last long.
No, that's a good point to mention, and that's again why I don't necessarily want to knock this movie, because
No, I'm not knocking. I haven't seen
yeah, because like you said, these things are unicorns. To see someone to be able to do that, and it's good to highlight that,
And to my point, I don't hear much about the movie over here. It got like really interesting reviews and stuff for about a month, and
literally
all of a sudden you don't hear about it.
radio silence, absolutely, which is very
And I want to make one more point, and I want to connect it to my point about the Montgomery. I don't know if y'all kind of know the stuff that went on, but
yeah. I'm ordering my chair earrings as we.
right. Well, the Montgomery, Alabama thing is really my kind of recent case study. Black people were like over the moon over it. It's like, yeah, this was a prime example of these white people in the South. And I'm like within 100 miles of Montgomery. I'm over in Georgia. You can't say that this Black working man did anything wrong. I don't hear much about it. I did not hear even the liberal, like the MSNBC, the liberal white media, didn't give it a lot of attention, because this was just the prime example of everything from white privilege to just, drunken white rednecks just thinking they can do whatever they want. So I'm done with my rant, but America in particular has a huge problem, and white people in general are doing everything they can to like keep that genie in the bottle.
Definitely.
How old made your first TV development deal? 19. My mother and my grandmother were freaked out. I was the first person in my family not to go to college, not been a slave. So I was really breaking from tradition. And it was like a graduation lunch we were having, and they had my dad come and talk to me, and my dad takes me outside, and he's like, listen, and this is advice that applies to all you actors. He said, the deal is a lonely life. Everybody wants to make it, and you might not make it. And I said, my dad, well, that depends on what making it is there. It was a smart ass kid. Yeah. Depends on what making it is there. He says, what do you mean? I said, well, you're a teacher. I said, if I could make a teacher sound like doing comedy, I think that's better than being a teacher. And he started laughing. He said, if you keep that, I think you should go. He said, but name your price in the beginning. If it ever gets more expensive than the price you name, get out of there. Thus, Africa. Oh, man. Yeah, you guys gonna learn a lot tonight. What can they learn? You know, you guys are students now, so you're idealists, but you don't know about what art and corporate interests mean yet. Just pay to have your heart broken. Like, in a way. You see him laughing that evil laugh? Because he knows, man, and everybody laughs at me, but just get your Africa tickets ready, baby. Because it's coming. You have no idea.
When Martin Lawrence was in that chair, we talked about Blue Streak.
I love it.
He played a role in your life, I believe. How do you feel about him as a person, as an artist?
So we're just watching Dave Chappelle trying to explain why I went to Africa. Sorry for a bit. We're talking about, like, obviously in his case where, you know, he was telling jokes and stuff, and he felt that there was corporate pressure, and maybe he said at some point he felt that with a lot of the non-black people who were there, they weren't necessarily laughing with him at certain jokes, they're laughing at him. And that's when they was trying to do the risque kind of KKK jokes and you know, stereotypical jokes, whatever. But just to segue a bit, I haven't read it, it's coming, but I was aware that there was some attempt to buy BET from, what is it? A few black corporate guys. My name slips because I'm bad, I was late. But I think something like BET's raised their price or something like that. So I don't think BET is going to be owned by black people anymore. The reason I say this is because naturally the idea is the reason why you can't do certain content is because the ownership is in a black person. So they have
BET did get bought by was it Byron Allen or somebody? I think it is.
Yeah, it never went. Tyler Perry didn't buy it. I think that was just a hope.
Oh, okay. I thought he did.
No, but that's what I recently.
That's what I heard.
Recently,
I heard that. Let me go.
Oh wait, hold. Let me research it right quick.
I saw that they're raising the price. But let's see Tyler Perry. They're very, very funny for me. Tyler Perry not buying BT. However, Paramount has decided to keep it. Atlanta Entertainment mogul Terry Perry, alongside a couple of prominent contenders, including Sean Puffy Combs and businessman Byron Allen, was found disappointment in their pursuit to acquire Bet.
Oh, okay. I think Rolanda Watts, Tyler Perry, they did acquire BET, and I'll put the link in the chat. Unless it fell through since June 13th.
Yeah, this is 10 hours ago. There's something that's happened recently.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
What I've got here, it says Tyler Perry was among several bidders hoping to buy the BET network. However, Paramount decided to keep it. So in the end, but that just goes to show, doesn't it? They didn't appreciate it, and then when they saw how many bidders wanted it, they were like, oh, you know, they didn't want it. They wanted to chuck it away, cut their losses. As a business, if you're ready to do that, you are done. You've done your end of close accounts. You've told your HMRC or their version of that, the government. You are done, right? It's for it to go out to bidders. But then as soon as you see that black people, millionaires want it, you're like, no. Even though you don't want it, you know, it's probably a burden to them. They're not making their money clearly because this is business, right? But I'd rather keep the non-asset, the thing that's draining money, than to let them own it.
Wow. I'm sad to hear this because that is so America.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Is it NBC with the one that they arrested, Bill Cosby, and what happened with Prince, and the same thing.
I don't think Cosby
Michael.
was ever going to be able to do that. You know, it's a counterfactual, but I don't think he was ever going to be able to do it.
Just like we're not able to buy BET, they won't let you do it.
Yeah, which is weird. But one thing I do want to point out, though, it was owned by a black man and he sold it.
Yeah, I think it was
Robert Johnson. So it didn't come into white hands, you know, by
force. That's true.
So you know, that I guess that's my point.
I think.
And quite frankly, I mean, somebody like Magic Johnson, who just bought into the Washington football team, why haven't people like Jordan and, you know, where were these people, you know, like a Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
You know, why is
Because Tyler Perry owns like one of the biggest TV
in Atlanta?
Exactly. This is his field, and even Diddy put a bid in. They did try.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what's to stop, say, other?
Yeah, but that's when we start beating our people.
Why not Oprah?
Yeah, but then why not the next billionaire in Canada? Like there was enough people there within the community who was ready to buy it, and they shut it down. We can't knock them because there was only 100 and there should have been 1,000. Mm-hmm. There was enough people there with the money ready to. I mean, Tyler Perry's a good look. You know, Tyler Perry's saying to you that he's got the money to buy it. You're pretty certain he's got the money to buy it. You know, he's a good bet. Maybe Diddy, but
the American black community,
if you were to sell it.
In the American black community, Tyler Perry isn't as well regarded as you might think.
But we're talking about business. I'm not talking about a black community. I'm talking about a businessman who has made his millions off of movies.
Tell me why it would be a good look.
Because
the reason I say this is there are stories. If you go back and look, you know, you're familiar with Atlanta, the TV show?
The Housewives.
No.
The series. I did watch the first two.
Yeah, Tyler Perry. There are a lot of black people in the entertainment industry who don't have, you know, your sort of regard for Tyler Perry.
Apparently, I know that he's not respected. This is what I'm saying.
Well,
this is the problem
apparently he's a little bit eccentric on at his studio.
Yeah, well, I mean, he dresses up as he's known for dressing up as a woman. So if he's known to be eccentric, it wouldn't be something that surprised me particularly. But I hear what you're
abusive.
I hear what you're saying, that some people have a problem with that, but we're talking about business. This is what I'm saying as black people.
No,
we need to leave our emotions, and if we like him, and if we don't, and all of that stuff. I bet you some of the billionaires, all of these people, this man, this big pedophile, and the one who had an island and things like that. Do you think these people like them? It's not about it's about business.
I'm hearing that Tyler Perry is a little bit of an abuser when it comes to his employees.
Okay, well, I didn't hear that. So,
I'm literally less than 40 minutes from Atlanta.
Is my mic working, Stanley? I might not be working.
It is, yeah.
Dude, I'm here in America, like within driving distance of Atlanta. I hear these things.
I'm in
the community.
Stanley, I think one way to look at it is if you look at the sheer pound for pound work he's done, in the sense of I don't watch any Tyler Perry films really, but what I can tell is the amount of his body of work plus his writing, producing, directing, and also having more than a cult following, like as in like consistent fan bases buy his material. I don't, outside of maybe a famous person in Nollywood, I don't know if he has any competition from a black or even any white producer and
He
mouth.
does,
Can you
especially
can
white.
you name him? Can you name him?
They're like the owners of Paramount and MGM. I mean, they're a bunch of Jewish competition.
No, what I mean is,
In Oprah, frankly, Oprah
Stanley,
is
let's go back
competition.
and forth. Yeah, Oprah's done really well. What I'm saying is, when it comes to movie productions, because I'm looking at his thing now, I put the link there. His film work. So from 2005, he's made like 2 to 5 films a year, and that's
So,
including. Hold on, that's including directing, writing, producing, and acting. Yeah.
Not to
So
mention his series.
okay,
yeah.
well, let me ask you a question. If he is so powerful, why is he not owning BET right now?
Well,
And
hold
you
on.
can't just, you can't, hold on now, let me finish. You
We're talking about two
can't
different things.
just say it's because of white people.
Well, hold on. What we try to do at Black Bearman, first of all, is we try to put things. So we have to understand that we don't really have in the Black diaspora world that much of a. Well, Nollywood's doing really well, to be fair, right? But generally, Hollywood has been going for hundreds of years before any kind of Black.
No, Hollywood hasn't been going on for
Not
hundreds
hundreds of years,
of
decades. I should say, sorry, decades. There's now a black director, a film owner, producer, and he might be the only one. I mean,
He's a studio owner.
Say it again. Can you name another one?
Studio owner.
Right. So what I'm saying is, because of that, he might be best placed to try to expand. Other ones, like for example, Bill Cosby was a good choice because he had an extremely popular sitcom which he owned a high percentage of, and
but he doesn't have Tyler Perry money even now.
No, but what I'm saying,
even before his legal troubles, he didn't. He never had Tyler.
What we're trying to say is, in the field of acting, before the field of media or the field of movie media production, before you go out to oil tycoons and other rich people like that, you say who in this field has done the best from the black community. And I think Tyler Perry might be number one. Not talking about like critically acclaimed work and this kind of stuff, but sheer pound for pound success, writing, producing, acting products. He's got quite a lot. I'm looking at his page now. I mean, the scroll never ends. And that you look at, you compare him to someone like Steven Spielberg. You know, he might not have more than 15 films, maybe less. I don't know, right? So
no, let me put it to you this way:
Steven
Spielberg sitting next to Tyler Perry. Now, we're not talking, when you say pound for pound, I assume you mean dollar for dollar. I'm looking at it more.
No, it's talking about content, like the body of work, I think.
I'm looking at he's not, Tyler Perry isn't in Steven Spielberg territory, nowhere near.
No, we know this, but that's why we use the term pound for pound. Just like Nazim.
Well, what do you mean by
Mayweather?
pound for pound?
Mayweather will never be able to knock out Mike Tyson, but you can have a pound for pound record, see who's achieved more, right?
I would say Mike Tyson has.
Tyson's done really amazing, but pound for pound.
Well, outside of boxing, I mean culturally. Now, I tend to look at it culturally.
Right, but culturally,
and that's the problem.
Steven Spielberg.
Well, how's that a problem?
Are you listening?
Because we're having a discussion about business, and you're talking about whether or not how the community appreciates them, or how we feel about their work, or if we like the shoes that they wore that day.
No, that's not really where I'm going with this.
I just feel like we're talking about the business aspects of it, right?
Okay, well, let me ask you a quick question. America tends to be a little weird. If you get business and culture, especially in the entertainment industry, they're pretty much holding hands. In
Not for us.
In the entertainment business specifically.
Right.
We're not talking
Not
Wall
for us.
Street. We're not talking the defense industry.
Where would we place someone like a Candace Owens, who is not liked within the community?
She's not even like in the same,
but she's within the community, right? But hold on,
she's not on the same planet.
Give me the grace to finish, right? If she's within the community, going by your logic, right? She's within the community, and you're saying that it has hand by hand, it works with business, right? The perception of a person. She's not liked within the Black community.
Okay, let me answer.
But she is definitely on TV or speaks behalf of Black people, or she's pushed in the mainstream. She's pushed in. The fact that I see her over here shows that she's pushed a lot.
Okay, let me.
And people have said that. People who are American, because now all of a sudden when I talk to you, only Americans could talk about America. People who are American have said that, Stanley. We've been.
Let me know when I can answer.
Go ahead.
Candace Owens is literally not considered part of the Black community.
Exactly.
So how is she in a Tyler Perry conversation?
We're talking about what you said about what your logic was, right?
Which was?
That perception and business goes hand in hand.
Okay, entertainment. She's not considered entertainment. She's considered like news and commentary.
Right, but again, like you said, America's a bit weird. So your news and commentaries, it kind of dabbles in entertainment as well. Do you know what I mean? Like
I don't agree.
Okay, well, we can agree to disagree on that.
Well, I live here. I'm in American culture.
Right, but I can talk about perception, and that's what we're talking about here, because you want to bring it to perception. If we were talking about something in regards to business, like we stand on, and not talking about our emotions as Black people, and just see it as there was two Black. Look, the company was up to
which company?
BT. Right, this is what it stemmed from, right?
Well, it's not.
Company.
It's a subsidiary, actually.
Brother Stanley, let's finish.
So the initial conversation was the fact that this company was up. This company, for whatever reason, they wanted to get rid of, right? And as soon as two Black people from the community was willing to purchase it, they decided to keep it.
I agree. I agree with that point. But that's pretty much where I lose you in the argument. I think the reason was they saw it was more valuable to the Black community than they figured. So essentially they want to jack up the price. Can we agree on that part?
That's an interesting aspect, because there was, I think, Brother Kane Black said on here, let me see if I can get his comment. The paper also said they think they only said they would sell it so Black people would start watching it again.
Yeah,
so
money.
Right, exactly, which ties into what you're saying in regards to value. But the only thing that holds me back with that is the fact that they didn't sell it. Like, if you're realizing, and I get that.
They think they can milk it.
But exactly, and I'd agree with you on that, but they didn't sell it in the end. If they knew they could trump up the price and get it a bit higher and the demand was there, did they just think, right, even though I could get X amount of millions, it's not worth it. I can see that I can do better with it, just keeping it. They're still interested in it. It's still a staple within this community. They do still care about it.
Well, here's my theory, and it's just a theory. They didn't know what they had until they started talking to Tyler Perry, etc. They didn't know.
Yeah.
Because BET was losing money, advertisers, viewership, etc. But now they're like, oh, hey,
So, Brother Stanley, Jamie, just before you jump in. So currently, what's his name? Tyler Perry is His net worth is 1.1 billion, right?
Okay.
Let me finish. And,
Great
then and Oprah is 2.5 billion.
Right.
Steven Spielberg is 4 billion, and George Lucas is 4.8 billion. Well, we have but what I'm saying is, Tyler Perry has started in 2005, and actually 700 million of his wealth comes from the Medina brand, the Medina. I think. So when I say pound for pound, you got to think that this is a black man in America who started in 2005 and now owns his own studio and makes his own films about whatever it's about. So pound for pound, that's quite impressive.
Okay, but let
that.
me answer, and I need about a couple minutes to answer. In the movie business, and I'm no expert, but Steven Spielberg's net worth isn't an issue. When they do movies, usually they get investors. The producer or executive producer of that movie isn't sinking his whole fortune into it. It's like any other business. A business, like a medium-sized business owner goes and gets loans. He doesn't sink his personal capital into it.
Why are you saying this again? Just so we can know home. Why are you saying this?
Comparing the net worth of Steven Spielberg to Oprah or Tyler Perry, it's really not. It's really an irrelevant point.
Sometimes when I talk, it must be echo. What we're trying to say is, Brother Tyler Perry is trying to buy BET. I think overall.
Okay.
Let me finish. Then jump in.
I got that part.
Almost there. So we're saying that some with his achievement, that's something that he's worthy of. Like he's in his element to do such.
Okay. His net worth isn't. It's really irrelevant. His personal net worth, where he made his fortune with the Medea movies, it's irrelevant to buying a studio. You bring in a group of investors to make a very large purpose. You don't put your whole net. You don't put your whole net worth in.
Let me. Because sometimes we talk in circles. So remember Puff Daddy or P Diddy, I forget his name. Tyler Perry and
Ice Cube. Is that who you're thinking of?
No. So and one other brother gentleman who's married to a white woman. I forgot his name. But he's quite wealthy. I think them three combined to actually try to buy BT, and that's the issue at current that it's being raised or taken off the market, something like this.
Oh, you're Jay-Z.
Person, bro.
Is it Byron Allen? Byron Allen.
Byron Allen. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are three very rich people. They
I don't know who Byron Allen is. Can you give me a quick break? I might know. Could you just give me a quick? I don't know if the name.
There isn't anything I can. I'm trying to figure something down.
Yeah, he's like a big media guy too.
I'm trying to figure what he owned. All I remember is he has a European wife, and that was a thing at some point in some context. But I'm trying to look at the stuff. I know he's bought. I remember he was expecting black people to support something he did, and that's why we can't.
And he failed.
What did he fail at? What did he want people to support him on?
Well, here's the deal. Let me know. I can stop because Brother Raven hasn't finished his point. Should I just wait?
So media stand up and television is. I think.
Yeah.
He's a comedian. Is he a comedian? Is that right?
Yeah, he started out as.
So it must be investments because he's not successful as a comedian.
He's owned a network or. He owns the Weather Channel. That's what it was.
Yeah, so he ended up buying things, right? Like he's famous, he's known, and he buys things.
Yeah, he's well known.
Yeah,
he did New Jack City with Wesley Snipes.
But let me propose something though. If Byron Allen, and actually this kind of opens up, a whole another can of worms. But I'm just saying, and this goes off on a totally different direction, totally different show. But $2 billion. There was a joke, and I don't think it was Dave Chappelle, but the gist of the joke was, if Elon Musk woke up with Oprah's money, he would commit suicide.
Yeah, but
So
you do understand the context.
How weak that person is.
Going out and buying a a dude who has 1 billion dollars, number one, couldn't attract enough investors to sweeten the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
To buy
This is what
BET. Hold on, let me finish. These guys aren't rich enough.
Oh my God! So that's the point. You're saying that this Byron,
if they were rich enough,
all
they
three
would
of those,
own
all
BET.
three of those incomes.
Hey, you said business
Collectively, okay.
You
So
said
those three.
business.
So how,
Did you not?
Brother Raven, what income are we looking at here?
Oh,
Because you
now I
1.1
get
billion
cut
off
off
one
and can't
person.
finish my point.
Well,
Okay.
Really?
While you said he's finishing that point, bro, can you give us the collective estimate of those three individuals, please?
Right. So
Don't know, but it's less than $10 billion.
Bro, one of them just owns 1.1 billion. It don't have to be 10 billion.
Probably.
That's not the magic number.
So
There's not a magic
what
number
is the
here.
magic number, man?
Hold on. So P Diddy's net worth is 1 billion. Byron Allen is 800 million, and Tyler is 1 billion 100,000.
So at least 2 billion there, 2.5 billion there. That's
Which
not enough.
equals an
I would say 3 billion. Let's say 3 billion.
Which equals an Oprah or close to it. She's at 2 billion.
That's not the way people see business, and that's not the way we should see
Okay, you can't honestly say that, ma'am. You're
absolutely
not.
I can.
Ma'am, you are not in American business. American
business doesn't have a nationality, bro. Business doesn't have a nationality. There's one golden rule to business.
Come on, Kushti.
I'm being honest. There's one golden rule to business. Make
one thing we can agree on. They weren't rich enough to buy BET.
In a quick, Brother Stanley, what is it? Because sometimes when we speak about some of the topics, we go slowly.
I wasn't allowed to talk.
You're always allowed to talk, as long as it's on context. What I'm saying is, basically, we're in that 3 black billionaires who are in the media wanted to buy BET, and the price was raised or they took off the market. What is it you're trying to say again? Or you're saying that I think you said Oprah and Magic Johnson should have done it. What was it you're trying to say?
Well, I was simply trying to say that, if you took all the black billionaires and put them together with one common purpose, maybe BET could have been bought. But frankly, is BET worth several $billion? I'm not sure it is.
Before anyone jumps in, the issue is it's the woulda, coulda, shoulda of like black economics is always going to be people's debates, right? Because when two people do it, it's like, why don't two other people do it? The truth is, 3 wealthy people tried to buy a channel that was in decline. That was in decline. I have Oprah, Michael Jordan, whoever, until someone says they want to do something, we can't force black people to do something that they're not doing. What we can do is go towards the ones who say they want to do it. And 3 wealthy.
Let me know when I can respond.
I don't know if there was a question I said, but go ahead.
$3 billion.
Wealthy.
That is wealthy in a very normal sense, but I guess my thing is look at the racial wealth gap in America, and maybe you'll kind of get my point here.
No,
there is no black person.
In America. Hold on. Before you say that, I just
am I interrupted?
Let me speak. Black people when it comes to billionaires and millionaires, are beneath European and
Way
white.
beneath.
Yeah, but
Like
but
that. Hold on one second. Let me finish. Let me finish my point.
Let me start before you finish. Let me right. We know this, right? But that's why we highlight activities they're trying to do to progress, and we start from recognizing a history of oppression as well as being collectively inadequate.
Understood,
So
and I
there is
agree with that.
There is never a like for like ratio. What we're saying is there is a step by step progression,
Agree.
and what those three did is part of that process, and we can.
I don't disagree with that point.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there is no fairy godmother kind of storyteller where it's like there's this
agree
rich
with
black
that
man
point.
in the mountains that's going to pay for stuff. Literally, that is the best in the African Americans pretty much have.
I agree with that point.
Right. So what I'm saying is they're trying to buy back an asset that was created by black people for black people. That was sold by
I
black
agree
people.
with that point.
And the people who own it have raised the price or used it as a marketing ploy to get more people to watch BET.
But let me, and I don't want to relive the past or any of that stuff, but it kind of goes back to your point, Raven. We screwed ourselves. It should have never been sold outside of the black community.
Stop there for a minute. This is very important. One thing we point is black ownership, and that's a very good point you say there. And that's why we try to talk about creating economics, creating ownership, creating black businesses, black institutions, and then hold on, brother. Before
with that point,
here you go. Before with businesses, at a certain point, selling something you made is a part of business. This is how it is, right? So that's why we're saying looking for other black people to purchase black products because, as we said, when BT went into the hands of non-black people, that's when you started seeing a whole lot of naked kind of dancing and provoking kind of content out of control. And the man who owned BT and his wife said that, yeah, I was very displeased with what happened after we sold it. So I think Brother Kel.
Let me ask you a question, though, you and Kusti.
Okay.
If you were in Robert Johnson's position, would you have sold? I mean, business doesn't necessarily know color. You sell to the highest bidder. But it's an honest question. I'm not being facetious.
I'll answer it. The truth of the matter is, like I said, black people are coming from an oppressive time and being collectively inadequate. So when you get the one or two people who manage to really get so far, we understand there's limited stuff. So we can never penalize someone for doing that. But we're trying to resurrect templates of what we think should be the standard. And that is to when we create black institutions all over the world to sell them to black people. Now we understand that there might be one rich man in one city, and that's just not viable. This can't happen, right? But generally, that is a template that we strongly recommend.
Well, let me ask you a question. What is the black
hold
bill?
on, because that's a good. So what's your answer to this question? Would you have sold it? I'm sorry if you did answer it.
For me, I would say I would like to think I wouldn't have sold it, but when I'm there, if I had a depreciating asset that I'm losing money on, and there's no like for like, pound for pound black person who can purchase it, then I would probably have to sell it to someone, right? If from a business standpoint. But knowing that it's going to be reality, that's why we try to create multiple institutions and multiple codes. So we can look to other black investors.
But let me ask you a question, though.
Wait, am I not allowed to answer the question?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, considering that it was Paramount, and if I'm looking at it solely as business, I think I agree with. I think it was agreeing up to a point with Brother Stanley, and I think that they noticed the value in it. And I think if I take the feelings out of it and realize that this is a forum to compete with business, then they did the best business move for them. if I've got something, and another thing that I wanted to say that you was saying, Brother Stanley, that did make me think as well. It's very similar to like what they do in regards to regentrification, what we have here, and I know that you have that overseas, right, where the traditionally black areas they let get run down, and then they buy it all up for cheap prices and they upscale the area. Are you aware of that happening in America?
Oh, gentrification?
Yeah. So I feel like that
absolutely it happens.
Exactly. And I think that again is a business plan and a business way of doing a tactic. And I think that, you know, the fact that they let BET just drive down to the ground, you know, there's no heart in that that telecom station, BET.
Well, the thing is,
hold on, let me just wrap it up. So I think that there is something into that. So I think that they didn't really care about it. I think that they were ready to sell it. But I think if I was Paramount and saw that actually there's potential in here, actually BET still holds some sort of remnants. And that's what they're playing on with BET, right? BET, it's not just another channel. BET holds memories for certain people. They saw that resurrected when you see the likes of Tyler Perry and P. Diddy willing to get that. And because they saw what that could be. And I think once they saw that, okay, this is still valued within the community, they saw that this is actually an asset if we play this right, and they decided to keep it. So that's me explaining that I think.
Well, that's what I said.
Right. Yeah,
they
did the right
didn't know what is it, Viacom or Paramount. They didn't know what they had until, you know, they put it on the market. And I mean, that happens all the time with houses and stuff like that. And I guess my point, to me, though, would you have sold the asset? BET was sold in 1998.
Okay.
And
I mean, that was my idea if I was Paramount, but you're now talking about the original owners who are black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Johnson, Jet and Ebony. He was like the original, you know, black. I think he was a billionaire or like he was Robert Johnson. Johnson Publications. Oh yeah. Back when I was a kid in the 70s.
I probably wouldn't have sold it then. That's for
Yeah.
And the reason why I wouldn't have,
totally different from them. For them.
The reason why I wouldn't have sold it is because it actually is a black institution, and done correctly, like a media channel of done correctly can really sway political ideas, and it really can if you do. And that's like we said before.
Right, but let me
hold on. Let me say this. We were talking before about black people wanting to have a certain narrative, but have to change it because a white person doesn't want to say it. Well, if you own your own media station, that's not going to be the case. Case in point, let me say, as I said before, BET covered the nation of it, the 95 Million Man March. They didn't cover the 2015 Million Man March, right?
Let me propose this though. I'm almost 60. So back in the late 70s when I started, you know, kind of being aware of this sort of stuff, and into the 80s, what media was back then is not what media is now. When I was a kid, like a black-owned radio station, there was a big one in Savannah, Georgia, and we all listened to it. The whole black community listened to WSOK, which was a great radio station. Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine, Robert Johnson Publications. Media back then, when he sold it, is not what media is in 2023. So he didn't know what was going to happen. It was just an asset. So in a way, we're kind of, you know, doing a presentist historical sort of thing. He honestly didn't know.
Yeah.
Hell, I wouldn't have known. I mean, WSOK, my kid radio station, James Brown, Bootsy Collins, all that shit
My
stuff
brother. That's
was
why you stick with the ideology of Black First or B1 or Pan Africanism or Black Betterment, even, right? Because if you had, because the one thing that you're right, no one has foresight to see what it is, but if you recognized of what it was and you had that mentality of realizing what it could be for the community, then the answer would have been a lot more easier to have made.
Yeah, it's worth a conversation. I don't know that I agree with you, but I can't disagree with you either. Back then, if we had stuck together, but who was going to buy it?
Well, they bought it.
Back in 1998, who was going to buy it? Who would have been rich enough?
Exactly, because Oprah wasn't even Oprah then, was she?
No.
As we know
in 1998 she was. I think, but she wasn't a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. And I did notice, I didn't know if your brothers were going to mention it, but Spike Lee never got a mention. Is that just, are we just erasing Spike Lee? Or, I mean, is he just not even in the runnings anymore?
He's nowhere near a billionaire. He's not.
No,
it'll be interesting to see, because like what when Raven was writing out the credentials of Tyler Perry, and he gave the date of 2015, right? But then someone like Spike Lee's been around since when?
The difference between Spike Lee.
Oh, he's been around since Do the Right Thing was what, 87?
Yeah, but the thing with Spike Lee is Spike Lee.
I think, I'm not sure.
You're right with it, but he doesn't own his own copyright. He doesn't own his own studio.
Right.
So this is why Tyler Perry is like major big league, because he owns the assets that like the Medea brand has made him 700 million, because he owns the brand. He owns every the master, the intellectual property, the playwright.
Million.
Well, I'm gonna
not bad for the chitlin circuit, is it?
No.
Oh, brilliant! Did you just say chitlin circuit?
I did.
I was going there. Excellent. I don't have to make the point now.
Yeah, so we're gonna end soon, but I think Spike Lee's net worth is 60 million.
Yeah, I was right with you there. I just typed it in the chat. 60 million is his net worth,
and that's because, once again, and this is a
that's
big.
That's not no short change, by the way.
No,
but when you're
amazing.
dancing with
billionaires, that is amazing. But what I would say is this:
but it's not by BET, Rich.
Yeah,
no. But more importantly, this is we're highlighting why ownership is important. You see, when you own things, you get more control, but you get more revenue. So that's why, remember that American football players, soccer players, football players, directors, actors, they're all paid a wage, and the real money is made by the people who own the asset of what they're paying.
See, I don't. It depends on how much mortgage.
Which Tyler Perry and I guess Oprah does as well. They own a lot of their own assets.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Okay,
we're gonna have to kick now because we've gone past the time ratio.
Well, I don't have their balance sheet. However, and I'm certainly not an entrepreneur / businessman, but I'm telling you right now, $1 billion in Tyler Perry owns a studio in Atlanta, Georgia, not Hollywood. So, we need to, I'm proud of him, but we have some work to do, is my point.
Yeah, so I co-sign that.
That's such the white cold, that the white ice is colder.
Yes,
so because his studio is not in the same postcode as the other white people in Hollywood, it isn't any better. Some would say that's smarter.
Well, no, I'm not implying that. I'm just saying
pound for pound, Tyler Perry is probably one of the most.
I remember his studio. Sorry to disturb, to interrupt you, bro. I just wanted to say on that point as well that remember his studio. It's not bad. You could say it's in Atlanta, but they're using his studios to film a lot of their big blockbuster movies.
But let me
forget that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
propose this though. I think in 20 or 30 years, he will be on par, but it takes time.
Well, not really. It does take time, but he was homeless in what 2004.
Okay.
It's now 2023, and he's one of the richest. And the reason he can generate
Okay.
he
was.
Hold on. Do you not let Brother Raven finish?
He owns this. The moral of the story is this: he owns his own assets. He owns things that people need to use and generate, and he essentially is the one paying wages to create assets that make a lot of money. So the template that Hollywood directors use and have used on black people in general is the template that black people want to get into, and that's own your own stuff. But the real moral of the story is this: if you own your own stuff and your own media company, your own channels, then you don't have to get permission to make content that's in your people's best interest. And that's the moral of the yeah.
Can I respond now?
Sure can, but make it be the last one because we have to do that.
Not the way you run a business. Owning stuff doesn't build value. It's how valuable it is in a market. It's how much people are willing to pay for your stuff that makes the value.
So a good point. So remember, before we go, the brother Tyler Perry has made a brand known as Medea. I've never really watched it too much myself. However, that brand that he owns has made 700 million for his network. So he understands.
And he couldn't buy a black network.
Well,
that is the cautionary tale.
Well, the cautionary tale is neither could what's his name?
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. We're seeing.
It's the fact that he couldn't. It's not the fact he couldn't. He had the funds.
Yeah, they had the funds, but obviously something. Hold on, before you jump in, Stanley, because we want people to be educated. When black people seem to get a certain amount of money, there seems to be some new thing that comes on that makes it very hard to get to the finish line.
New glass ceiling. Even loads of people said that.
And remember, David Chappelle, a very highly paid actor, but he had to run to Africa because, once again, he's a high.
He didn't have to run.
Hold on, let me finish so you can jump in. Because he felt that he wanted to make the show a certain way and he wasn't in fully control. Then
he didn't have to run.
Hold on. The people paying
him. He wasn't an escaped slave.
Hold on. Tyler Perry can dress like. Hold on. David Chappelle didn't want to dress like a woman on their terms, but Tyler Perry on his terms wanted to dress like a woman. Hold on. So what I'm saying is, when you have ownership, you can do the wacky or the weirdest or whatever, how you want it, whether it's right or wrong, and you can recruit.
Still, exactly.
So okay, but hold on. Before you go, there's this massive thing about black men dressing like women that is hold on, we'll get there. That is seen as very problematic. And the only person who's ever really pulled it off without much criticism is Tyler Perry, because he generally owns that. He owns that character, and it isn't done in a way that's sexual, whatever it is, right? It's meant to be some kind of,
No, that is a good point, though. If he ticks every box in mainstream, why would they not choose him?
It doesn't have to be sexual.
You're not hearing what Brother Raven's
saying.
I
heard what he said.
He's saying that no, the money wasn't enough. You've got one person, if they had one views where they're not going to even submit to what the mainstream wants and not wear clothes and go through a different side, they'll block them. But even with someone like Tyler Perry, who's palatable, right? He dresses up with clothing. He's got money. He's PC. He still couldn't get the get-in, is what Brother's saying. If I'm wrong, Brother Raven.
No, you're saying that, but also the point that as well as he couldn't be cancelled anyways, right? So
okay,
yeah, because of the ownership.
Okay, I'm thoroughly confused.
So even though we as a community might not agree with Medea, it's his brand, yeah.
Absolutely.
And he's made 700 million of it, and with that 700 billion, sorry. No, it's million, not billion. It's 700 million.
No, it's million.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
He buy every single channel of that. But anyway, family, I've been saying.
Let me know when I can answer.
Well, Stanley, we're gonna have to hold it for next week because we've gone 20 minutes over our. But we look forward to hearing you next week, and maybe we can cover media ownership. Well, if there's any,
I'd actually like to. It's an interesting conversation.
Okay, well,
media ownership is a good conversation, but I'd like a suggestion as well.
Go ahead.
I don't know if I'll be up everybody's street.
You
I
can
would
write
like
down.
some of the things that's happening in Nigeria, Mali, and Burkina Faso as well.
Oh yeah, we can rejoin that as well because we covered it before, but that was early. All right, family.
Well, I would have to listen because I mean, I kind of know what's happening, but I'm by no means an expert.
Maybe we'll do both. But if there's any others, just let me know, and unless something new comes on. But we've got media ownership as well as what's going on in Mali and Nigeria. But let us know, and we'll make it so. But until then, Black Betterment to all and to all Black Betterment.
Black Betterment.
I enjoyed it.